In the late 13th century, Anatolia was a study in contradictions. In the interior, cities like Kütahya and Amasya were the centers of Seljuk civilization, stable, urban, and governed by established law. But as you traveled west into the borderlands, that order vanished into a rugged expanse known as the Uç, the frontier. This was the domain of the Etrak-i Uç, or frontier Turks. They were semi-nomadic, hardened warriors who operated outside the vinculations of central state politics. Their lives were defined by the mobility of the yurt and the demands of the border. This frontier had become a pressure cooker of demographic energy, concentrating thousands of displaced people into a narrow, volatile corridor of land. The spark for this explosion came from the east. The Mongol invasions acted as a massive kinetic push, driving nomadic tribes across the Anatolian plateau and pitting them against the Byzantine border. On the other side of the line, the Byzantine social structure was failing. The local peasants, or peroikos, were being crushed by angaria, heavy, arbitrary labor demands forced upon them by feudal lords, offering no protection in return. This decay was physical. The defensive towers and border forts that once held the line were crumbling, left undermanned and underfunded by a Byzantine state distracted by its own internal civil wars. The collapse of central control left a gap on the map and a desperate population looking for a new source of security. Whoever could organize this human pressure would command the region. To navigate this chaos, the refugees looked to charismatic military leaders known as Alps. These leaders organized the demographic influx based on skill and bravery, rendering old tribal bloodlines secondary to battlefield performance. These war bands were fueled by a potent mix of ideology and economics. Gaza, the religious commitment to holy war, and Doyum, the immediate, practical need for booty to sustain their families. This organization transformed scattered tribes into a professional military class. Distinguishable by their red hats, the Kizil-Borkli emerged as a disciplined, aggressive force. This transition from tribal defense to professional warfare allowed these frontier forces to operate as a self-sustaining military system. The internal cohesion of these groups relied on the noker system. A noker was a comrade in arms bound to his leader by absolute personal loyalty and shared risk, creating a bond stronger than kinship. These ranks were open to anyone. Successful Alps attracted garip yetler, foreign adventurers and escaped captives who saw more opportunity in this merit-based warband than in the rigid societies they left behind. This was the genetic code of the early Ottoman military, a pragmatic, patrimonial group that valued loyalty and ability over ethnic or social origin. The Uç functioned as a porous membrane. Turkish and Byzantine border guards traded and negotiated constantly. This forged a hybrid society of mixo-barbaroi. Pragmatism eclipsed religion, exemplified by Köse Mihal, a Byzantine lord who joined Osman's ranks as a noker, bringing his territory with him. The early empire grew through this process of assimilation and mutual benefit, building a state that functioned for everyone who lived within it. The Ottomans secured their conquests through administrative clarity, specifically the çifthane system. They swept away the complex, crushing labor chores of the old feudal order and replaced them with a single, predictable tax. By placing the peasantry under the direct protection of the central state, they prevented local lords from exploiting the workers. This stability made the new Ottoman rule more attractive to the common farmer than the failing Byzantine system. Swords won the territory, but a functioning, superior system of governance is what allowed the Ottomans to keep it. As the frontier expanded, the goal of Gaza evolved. It was no longer just about raiding. It was about the duty to govern and protect a vast, diverse population of millions. The Ottomans took the raw demographic explosion of the 13th century and engineered it into a structured world order. By transforming the chaotic energy of the frontier into a resilient system of administration, they turned a temporary migration into a 500-year empire.